Ellsworth Raymond Bumpy Johnson, October 31st, 1905, July 7th, 1968, was a prominent African-American crime boss in Harlem, New York, during the mid-20th century. Known as the Godfather of Harlem, Johnson was both feared and respected for his intelligence, charisma, and complex personality. His life has inspired numerous stories, books, and films. Here's an overview of his remarkable life. Early life, birth, and childhood. Bumpy. Johnson was born in Charleston, South Carolina in 1905. He earned the nickname Bumpy due to a noticeable bump on the back of his head. Moved to Harlem. His family moved to Harlem, New York, when he was a teenager to escape racial oppression in the South. However, Harlem presented its own challenges, and young Bumpy was quickly drawn into a life of petty crime. Rise to power, mentorship with Stephanie St. Clair. Bumpy gained prominence in Harlem during the 1930s under the mentorship of Stephanie St. Clair, a powerful numbers illegal lottery queen. Together, they waged war against Dutch Schultz, a ruthless mobster who wanted to take over Harlem's numbers racket. Alliance with the Italian mafia. After Schultz's assassination in 1935, Johnson brokered a deal with Charles Lucky Luciano and other Italian mobsters. This arrangement allowed him to control Harlem's underworld while operating as an intermediary between the mafia and the African-American community. Life of crime and influence numbers. Game. Johnson's primary income came from the numbers racket, a precursor to the modern lottery. This business was incredibly profitable and allowed him to amass wealth and power. Robin Hood. Image. Despite his criminal activities, Bumpy was seen as a Robin Hood figure in Harlem. He helped the community by providing food, financial support, and protection from abusive landlords and police. Conflict with law enforcement. Johnson had numerous run-ins with the law and spent several years in prison, including a stint at Alcatraz in the 1950s for drug conspiracy charges. Personal life marriage. Bumpy was married to Mamie Hatcher Johnson, who later wrote a memoir about her life with him, titled Harlem Godfather, The Rap on My Husband, Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson. Relationships with celebrities. Johnson was known to have connections with many prominent figures, including Malcolm X, Billie Holiday, and Sugar Ray Robinson. Later years and death. Continuing influence. Even in his later years, Bumpy remained a significant figure in Harlem's criminal underworld. He successfully balanced his relationship with both the Italian mafia and the Harlem community. Death. On July 7th, 1968, Johnson died of a heart attack while having breakfast at Wells Restaurant in Harlem. His death marked the end of an era for Harlem's underworld. Legacy. In pop culture. Bumpy. Johnson's life has inspired characters in films and TV shows, including American Gangster, 2007, where Denzel Washington played Frank Lucas, one of Bumpy's protégés, Godfather of Harlem, 2019, a TV series starring Forrest Whitaker as Bumpy Johnson, exploring his life and battles with the mafia. Community impact. Despite his criminal career, Bumpy is remembered in Harlem as a protector and a man who stood up against systemic oppression. Bumpy Johnson's life was a blend of crime, power, and community leadership, making him a legendary figure in Harlem's history.